Welcome back, Drunken Mountain. Week 10 is in the books. It's now time to release this week's updated standings using our favorite and not so favorite golf movies to rank everybody's playoff chances. On to this week's standing. First up, it's the Caddyshack 2 division. If not just the worst golf movie ever made, it might quite possibly be the worst movie ever made. In 12th place, we have Dale LeBlanc, still hanging in with only 1 point from the record column, 1 point from the points column, for a total of 2. Just like Caddyshack 2 tried to replace the great Rodney Dangerfield with Jackie Mason, Dale LeBlanc tried to replace Cam Newton of 2015 with Cam Newton of 2016. Things are looking up for Dale. It just may be a little bit too little, too late. He definitely needs 3 wins to close out the season, probably needs to score at least 100 points each week, and even then, he's going to need some help. In 11th place, Jason Kreidner's got 3 points from the record column, only 2 points from the points column for a total of 5. Again, if he happens to go on a tear, he's got a slim chance, but it's not looking good. You got to give it up for Kreidner, though. He changed up his philosophy. Instead of having 4 Bears on the roster, he now only has 2 Bears plus a former Bear. So he's going in the right direction. It's just not going to work out this year. Next up is the Who's Your Caddy division. From this point on, all remaining 10 teams have a more than likely chance of making the playoffs. Everybody is very tight as points as well as record. I got to be honest, I've never seen this movie, so there's not going to be a whole lot of references here. If anyone in this league has seen this movie, Jared will probably be over at your house soon to set a cross up in your front yard. First up, Kevin Cannon. He's got 6.5 points from the record column, only 3 points from the points column. He does not have the typical Kevin Cannon team. He is sitting just outside the red line right now in 9th place. How can a team with, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Seahawks possibly have a chance at making the playoffs? That team has 1 bad game, and there goes his fantasy score. With that being said, do I expect the Seahawks to roll through the rest of their season carrying Cannon onto his 5th championship in a row? Probably. We all know how much luck I've had trying to put a curse on him the past few years. Next up, Iron City, Darren Sayer. He is just above the red line right now in 8th place, but I expect him to move below the red line over the remaining few weeks. He's got 6.5 points from the record column, only 4 points from the points column. A couple losses and a couple less points in that column, and he is outside the red line looking in. Why do I make this assumption? Look at his running backs. He's got the total of Chris Ivory, Theo Riddick, Darren Sproles, Charcandrick West, collectively known as a big pile of poop. Up next, it's the Dead Solid Perfect division. It's an okay movie carried by a sober Randy Quaid, highlighted by 1 moment of brilliance, also known as the hallway muff shot. All of the teams in this division have looked good at times this year, but have let them down several times, leading to disappointment. Up first, it's Tyson Osborne. He's on the outside looking in at the moment. He's only got 3 points from the record column, 6 points from the points column for a total of 9. Unfortunately for Tyson, he's not been able to win the games he needs to. He's lost a couple that he's scored over 100, but ended up in the loss column. It's all coming down to this guy for him. If he's spiking footballs, Tyson has a chance. If he's modeling with kittens the remainder of the season, Tyson is probably headed for the bumper bowl. Up next, Cam Ludwig. Cam is sitting somewhere near 6th right now with 6.5 points in the record column. He's got 7 from the points column. As long as he maintains the status quo, he will likely remain above the red line. He's at 5-5. With that record, he can go either way. He's sitting at 978 points, which is about 50 points ahead of the lower tier. What he needs is a little bit more consistency from his team. Anybody remember when this guy was good? That was about 6 games ago. Next up is the Happy Gilmore division. A perfectly funny movie. These are perfectly good teams, but more than likely they're going to end up with a nail in their head. First up is Derek Dawson. He's got 11.5 points from the record column. He's still tied for the lead in record right now. He's only got 5 points from the points column. So he's been a little bit fortunate to get a few wins he probably didn't deserve. But this is a guy who has Tom Brady on his team. This is a guy who's getting Spencer Ware back from injury. I can see him righting the ship and finding a way to stay above the red line. Next up is Jay James. He's got 6.5 points from the record column. He's got 8 points from the points column. Again, probably has done enough and has been consistent enough to remain above the red line, but I'll say it to you both. You will not be winning this league, jackass. Up next, it's the Tin Cup division. Each of these 3 teams capable of winning it all this year. Just like Roy McAvoy shooting a 62 in the U.S. Open, each of these teams can be brilliant in any given week. Also like Roy McAvoy, each of these teams is capable of blowing up. Next thing you know, we're taking a 12 on 18 and we're packing our bags, waving away the rook. First up, it's Jared Shaw. Now, how can you say a team sitting in 7th place right now can be in this division? Well, that's because Jared has 3 points from the record column. He has 9 points from the points column. He is Mr. Unlucky. He's averaging 99 points a game this year, and he's lost 4 games where he's scored at least 90 points. That's almost unheard of. He is leading points against in our league by well over 100. This is a guy who will get a few more wins and safely stay above the red line. Next up, Andrew Donner. Am I going to Italy? I'm not going to Italy. I might be going to Italy. I'll be back from Italy. He's sitting in 3rd place right now. He's got 9.5 points in the record column. He's got 10 points from the points column. He's been Mr. Consistent as well. And last in the division, myself, sitting in 2nd place, 9.5 points from the record column, 4 wins in a row. I've got 11 points from the points column, 4 wins, all scoring over 100 points. I fully expect that streak to end this week when I've got the 3rd best running back on a bye, the number 1 wide receiver on a bye, the number 1 kicker on a bye, and the number 1 defense on a bye. You're welcome, Dale LeBlanc. Your glimmer of hope stays alive. Good luck this week. And finally, it's the Caddyshack division. The best golf movie ever made. It's full of great actors. It's full of great one-liners. And there is only one team worthy of being in this division right now. That's Brian Miller. He's tied for first on record with 11.5 points. He's leading the points column. He's got 12. He's ahead of 2nd place by 40 points. And he is definitely the team that everybody is chasing. He's got, count them, 1, 2, 3 running backs in the top 10 right now. He has Odell Beckham on his team. He has a rejuvenated Jason Witten. He has 2 quarterbacks who could at any given time put up 30 to 40 points. If this guy doesn't win the championship, it will be a letdown. So that's it, gentlemen. On to week 11. There's only 3 weeks left, which means that it's time to separate the wheat from the chaff, the men from the boys, and the awkwardly feminine from the possibly Canadian. Go get them.